I think just be much more mindful of where your team is.
Okay.
I think you just have a very solo mentality, and just like all throughout the game, you're just completely offset from what your team is doing, where they are, where your team is, and what they're trying to do, right? Because I know, like, basically, if you look at that Nasus, you were probably throughout the game like, what the fuck is wrong with my Nasus, right? Why is he doing this? He's just way offset. He's like pushing into their base when everyone else on your team is just taking a reset, right? It just looks bizarre, right? But you have to understand that you are that Nasus.
Okay.
It just looks a little bit less egregious because we're farming our camps, right? And not just like straight inting. But from like a tempo perspective, that's you and him were on the exact same level, right? It was just completely out of sync with your team. And the rest of the people on your team were kind of like relatively in sync, right? They were kind of like moving out at the same time, like doing things together. But there was just like a random Nasus here and a random Nunu here. This is like the shape of this game, right? Nasus here, Nunu here, team here, right? Really, really bizarre. And it really held up the mid game so that you guys weren't able to end because you just were never had an opportunity to go as like 4 or 5. So I think that these things are like the big things that you need to work on, especially these two. You're probably losing a lot of games off of this without realizing and going like, why is my team dying without me? It's because you should be with them at those timers, right? And we just missed our reset timer.
Okay.
All right, let's drop this one up here. And this is the new one. Okay, I'm sorry these took so long. I know I planned to get to at least like 8 today. We did 3, so that's my bad. I'll go through them much more like quickly tomorrow. But that's all the VOD reviews for today. Does anyone have any questions before we wrap up for the day? If not, peace out right here, and we'll just pick up where we left off tomorrow. I'll pin this with, don't forget. Nebe, Innismore, and Assault and Battery.
Always trouble.
Alright. Oh my god, VOD review sessions are so tiring compared to lecturing. Okay, I think we'll just wrap up there then if nobody has any questions. Oh, right, true. Mute. There we go. Okay, and I think why not
just get muted again?
No. What was that?
He'll just get muted again.
Fair, but it's fun
No,
that way, right? We create more work for why not.
Okay, we'll wrap up there for today.
Again, my apologies for taking so long on the VOD reviews, but I think it's fair. I think we got through like a good number of things, and I think like what was going wrong in each of the VODs was like a little bit different from person to person. So I think it was kind of worth taking like the one piece. And then now that we've covered a lot of like the typical mistakes people make, I'm just like blasting it tomorrow. Get to everyone. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, Mark.
Has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Your technique is
You have been slain.
your journey has reached its conclusion.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, the Christmas pet pictures. These are too good, man. These are too
I should
good.
take questions while we look at
Probably
pictures
should.
of animals.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, as fun as this is, I guess we're being a little unproductive and lazy here. You guys have 2 more days of boot camp. If you have not talked to me and you want to ask questions about anything, about your sessions, about the game, about whatever the fuck, you can raise your hand and we will answer some questions.
An
And
ally has been slain.
Method, if you wanna hover up here, you can. You're a coach, you can hover up here and help answer some questions if you want, or not, no pressure. Yeah. So Nick, Bob, you're up.
I do have something to say. So, I loved my session today with the ADC and support. We did the 2v2s, and it was the best thing. Like, we learned how to coordinate with our supports to gain level 3 advantage or level 2 advantage.
Yeah, you gotta ping a lot, don't you?
Yeah. That's what I loved of my today's session with them. So
That's not a question, Nick Bob. Great.
no, but I think that they should do more things like this where they coach you on the like if they in top laners they should do like more like 1v1s.
So you're asking for more.
So what you should have
I'm
said
asking for
was,
more.
I like
is
it.
there a way that we can do more things like this?
Yeah.
This is like
Or like
Jeopardy,
1v1
okay?
for
This is like Jeopardy. You ever play Jeopardy?
yeah, I have played Jeopardy, yes.
Well, then you know the rules.
Yeah, of course.
Damn it, Nick Bob. Yeah, I mean, we're always thinking about what seems to resonate with the group and what works. And we're definitely down to keep improving on this and changing it and modifying it. So yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. Dragon, what's up? What's your question?
Yeah,
Hi.
had a
Nice.
I just had a question because I have a big problem with picking like a decently large champ pool in the bottom of the ADC. But I know a lot of the lectures say, you know, keep to 1 or 2 champs. I was wondering, is it a good idea to kind of learn like a champ in every kind of bot lane synergy, like a poke and all in, or is it just good to just stick with like a poke?
I say just master the champ.
Okay.
I feel like the reason ADCs tend to try to modify is because they feel like the majority of their task is like right clicking, but I don't really agree. I think there's so much nuance in every champion that, like, if I were climbing an ADC, it would just be insta-lock everywhere every game for me. So just find that champion that you can play into every circumstance and just get used to every circumstance. Like, that's part of understanding the game as well. If you want to know what it's like, how does this champion beat this? Like, how does my champion fare against this? When you bounce around too much, and this is why I made the rule for this boot camp for everybody to stay, you know, to keep the champ pool really small. I'm not doing it to be a dick. I just want you guys to understand that, like, there's power in getting that min-max down, because if you don't have the min-max, like, how do you guys gonna expect to get, like, okay, I literally recorded another video just like an hour or so ago. I finished, well, actually it was like 3 hours ago, for the Chill Niche channel. I was talking about that Callista top thing. I ran that back with a different build. And in order for me to win, I tweeted about this. In order for me to win a game, and I believe it's like low gold or maybe like high silver or whatever the hell it was, I went 28, 8, 14, and 417 farm at 47 minutes. It was a struggle. And I would imagine that, like, you know, if I had played Callista more, so like let's say that I played it, I don't know, 10 times, 15 times before that, like, I could have probably actually made it a lot easier and it wouldn't have been such a struggle. It was like a 47-minute game and I almost lost multiple times. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, in this instance, like recording for my channel or whatever, I'm playing different champions. I feel myself making games a lot easier for my opponents. And I can just see it. Like, I'll just make a slight micro error and be like, yep, well, there goes my agency. Or I'll fight at a bad time and I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that's how that fight went. And it's just because, like, you're not gonna be able to build up an arsenal. And you guys keep swapping around to different champs. You're not gonna get the muscle memory of like how to kite. And once you get that muscle memory built on a champion, then you can start working in another one. So yeah, I think ADCs are notorious for this, and you seem no different. Stop fucking playing different champs. Stay on like a champion and master it. Take mastery seriously. Would you rather be memorable on a champion or forgettable on like 10? That's the choice you have to make. It takes discipline. It's fine. I mean, the goal is to climb. The goal is to have fun and go EXD and, you know, 50% win rate it forever. Then jump around a bunch. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Alright, thank you.
No problem. EXD, Jake knows all about that.
I know all about what, bro?
You and your fucking hedgehog. Hee hee. Look at him, I wrapped him in a little blanket. Hee hee. What's your question?
Hey everybody, sorry if this has been asked before, but you talk
okay.
about your videos about repeatable systems and
Yes.
executing.
I ain't got time.
Reliable. So
Yes.
what role?
Jungle. Well, actually, you know what? Jungle does in a way, but not really, because jungle is so dynamic in terms of like, oh well, this guy showed up here, I have to go here. Honestly, I would imagine any like split push top has like the better the system that's the simplest. Or I guess there probably isn't any one.
I got no time.
All of them have their merits, so except for bot lane, which is the worst. Because bot lane is unreliable unless you have a duo. So if you have a duo, it can be repeatable. But like, hear me out. So jungle, certain champions in the jungle, like if you play a power farmer, this is fucking easy. You just power farm, and then if there's a gank on your path, you go gank, and then you immediately try to go back to farm. And you do it again and again and again, and collect objectives along the way. If you're playing top lane, you know, Garen's the example I use all the time. Get big enough where you can wave clear the wave, dive the guy if you can, proxy if you can, stay top, side lane until you get huge, and there you go. Side laning until you get big enough to run the game over and start running people over. Mid, get to a point where you can shove the lane and roam. And so, I mean, I personally, if you're putting solo, which it sounds like you probably are, I would pick one of those three, whichever one interests you the most. And I would just try to play a champion that, I would try to play a champion that's lower skill cap, or I should say lower skill floor, high skill cap. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for doing it. Perhaps, what's your question? Yeah.
Hello. So my question is, I have played over 60 games this bootcamp, and I'm and I'm feeling like I keep the plateau with my one track. Anivia.
What do you like?
Plus one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but should I just power through it with Anivia, or should I just...
Sounds like you're really close to Diamond. You're on a US, it sounds like, judging by your
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah.
So your server's pretty hard to beat Diamond, to get to Diamond. I just power through it, play a solid game. Obviously, review your games. Maybe take it slow. How much LP?
Right now,
19? Yeah, just take it slow. I mean, I wouldn't give up yet. It sounds like you're really close to Diamond. What, you hit like a promo and fail a couple? Is that why you're talking this way?
no, it's more like I had 90 LP, then I just lost it to 30 yesterday, and now I'm at 90. So I'm just losing very...
Got it. I would give up. I think that you're really close to Diamond. I mean, don't spam a bunch right now. Take it slow. You've probably got the volume in to where you can play your champion right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think you need to like spam it anymore. What I think you need to do is you need to approach games really smartly and just, you know, try to go through the VOD reviews after a game and be like, okay, does this make sense? Like, am I approaching the game right here? You know, could I have taken, how could I min-max this matchup better? Should I have taken Ignite here? Should I have taken Teleport here? You know, what death was like really pivotal for me? And just take it slow. But I wouldn't say you necessarily plateaued. It's very it's very easy for somebody. Have you ever been Diamond before?
No.
Oh man, then you gotta keep working at it.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to lose a bunch at that rate. Like, dude, I lost a bunch getting to Diamond recently when I was fucking around with the Hector again. Like, it's very easy to lose like a bunch of games in a row on that server at that range because people don't care. It's not like you can necessarily just stomp every game. It's part of the it's part of the experience. Is like, you know, you're gonna drop some games. So just don't get too discouraged and understand that variance is gonna be a lot more prevalent at the elo that you're at. Like plat 1 to diamond, this is why I tell people to stop at diamond all the time, unless they're doing something with the game, because plat 1 to diamond is like, that's a pretty good, or just plat 2 diamond is a pretty good range to kind of get that feeling of what the game is gonna turn into. There's gonna be a lot of like small edges, mental toughness, and like you get a good taste of like, okay, if you want to keep going, there's gonna be more shit like this happening.
Your
Do you
team
understand?
has destroyed
Yeah.
a turret.
Yeah, I would stick
Enemy
with it. Dude.
double
Don't give
kill.
up.
Okay.
You
Thanks.
have been
Yeah, no
slain.
problem, man. You can get there.
Your turret
Just
has
make sure
been
you take it like
destroyed.
step by step with your games. Because if you spam out a bunch of games and get tilted, then you'll fuck your flow up. Jesus, Ninja. What's up? The wings are banging though. Some of my jams.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
I'm trying to think of a way to word this well. I guess the most concise way to say it would. So I play ADC, and I don't know when to like. Roaming seems like something I just am not allowed to do, kind of. Because it always feels like I'm going to be missing out on farm or out of place in some way, or if I roam too early, then I'm going to end up not having enough items or movement speed to get where I'm going fast enough to actually accomplish problem solving, like in the first general mission that we had. I've been trying to kind of focus on that, and I feel like I can start to identify some of the problems now since we've started the boot camp, but I still don't. I'm not able to solve them because like I don't like got that lack of agency, I guess.
Enemy rampage.
I have been playing Ash and Misfortune like half, but I've really leaned into Ash since starting this.
Yeah.
The way to do this is, okay, so there's not really that many windows to roam, necessarily. But there are some. So one of the classic windows is just like early game. Say you try to push for a level 2 and your opponents just back off and they don't even go near you. Then I would slow push the wave, get like a cannon under the tower, and then roam to mid. Anytime you have a slow push where you build a big wave and your opponents don't touch the wave, you can roam with your support. And that's normally a pretty strong roam because the bot lane can't move. And that basically makes every play for a while like massive weight in your favor because the support can't follow. I mean, most can't. And then I would say, like, in general with Ashe players, if you're talking about fighting agency, what elo are you?
Flow Silver.
Okay, you need to start firing ults like everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like I've significantly. I was like pretty much exclusively locked cam before starting this, and I've started to learn that and really actually been able to hit them across the map, and it feels sometimes like I'm helping, and then sometimes it's like, oh well, that took so long to get there that I didn't really do anything. But I definitely feel like I'm not just sitting on it all the time now.
Yeah, so the judgment, basically, your judgment needs to improve, and the best way to do it with Ashe, every Ashe player in low elo that I've ever coached, I immediately look at them and I'm like, why aren't you ulting right now? And they're just like super shy about pulling the trigger on ults. Like, literally, when I play Ashe, as soon as I spike 6, I probably will just ult somebody. And like, if I'm in base and I have ult and I see any play that looks like if I hit an arrow, somebody dies, I just fling it. I don't even think about it. Like, you have to be willing to shoot shots so that you can get a better understanding of like what your stun will accomplish in certain situations. Because until you've seen it and played that style enough, you're probably gonna be one of those Ashes that I would yell at in the game. Not yell at, but like ping because like, a lot of Ashe players are way too similar to ults, and I would say probably 1 in every 30 Ashe players that I encounter ult aggressively enough. Like, it's very, very rare. It's one of the most annoying ults in the game to face when they're shooting it from like the middle of the lane, out of vision, or like from a different lane. One of the most annoying abilities. It's the ultimate setup for your team. So I'd be willing to bet that you're probably not, like, you're right, there's no roam timing that makes a lot of sense, but it normally unlocks off a slow push, and then if you're able to slow push and get something done, try it. But mainly what you're looking at is like, how are you out on the map? Like, that's gonna be the thing. That's gonna be the thing that separates you from most Ash players in my experience. Because I'm telling you, they're so timid. So frustrating. I'll be standing next to somebody and I'll be fed. I'll be Ash. I'll fake them. It'll take forever to ult. The target takes 3 steps back and then you can play. It's like, please just fucking ult things. It's like, just ult. So yeah, that's what I got for you. Other than that, I mean, agency and ADC are kind of like, they're ping dependent and how hard you're in pings. I mean, communication pings not lag. It's kind of dependent on how much of a lead you get early. And then roams, I wouldn't really expect roams to connect that often because the windows like you've identified aren't very prevalent.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
That's.
Can I
like
chime
having...
in before you go too?
Yeah, yeah.
Because this was something that he told me, that Nice told me in boot camp too. When I got up on stage and asked a question, I was like, hey, I play Ashe. Like, I'm an Ashe one trick pretty much. And like, the biggest thing he told me was use your ult. Like, literally when I hit 6, I'm like, or getting ready to hit 6, I like ping my support, let them know that I'm getting ready to hit 6. I'm like pinging like on my way. As soon as it like comes up, I'm going in if I see an opportunity. And like, that was something that really, really changed my like laning phase, was just knowing when I'm getting ready to hit 6 and like letting my support know like, hey, this means we go in when I hit 6. Like, and it was really good for me personally. I'm also low elo. I'm like low gold, so I'm silver adjacent. I'm gold 4. So that was, so I'm silver adjacent. So that was something that really helped me out in lane. So I would definitely recommend that. Just like ping your support, let them know like, bro, we going in as soon as I hit 6.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know I had this, but like as soon as he said that, I just felt like immediate relief that like I can just have my R on cooldown all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's like people just save everything and just like, I know you can't use it here because you might need it over there, or that kind of thing. Because there's, I mean, there are some champs where that's your situation, and I've probably played Misfortune more than Ashe starting out, and I think that might be maybe where that came from.
Yeah. Misfortune, you have to be a little bit more selective. But in general, like the way I view Ashe is like, if this even remotely looks like it would work, if I hit a barrel, you'll immediately see me fire.
Okay.
Like I won't, because
no hesitation.
Well, there's overlap too. It's not even that. I mean, that's part of it, but it's about the overlap of your abilities. If you're playing super scared with your ult, and you miss 4 opportunities that you would have had because you put your ult on cool, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would rather shoot more
An ally has been slain.
perfect opportunities, but I would rather shoot more of those than try to find perfect opportunities that may or may not ever show up.
And the more you shoot it, the more you'll know when you can, like when it's like a really good situation for it, you know? I believe in you.
Thanks, guys.
I love my Ashe plays. I love it. Oh, someone did have a question for you before this one. It was in the chat. He said he missed most of the boot camp because he's been moving, but he got everything set up now finally, and he's getting ready to start back on the grind tomorrow and Thursday. He was wondering if he's now able to watch all the videos and the VODs, but do you think that that's enough, or should he have just sat this one out and done the next boot camp? I think that like, yeah, I think that as long as you watch the videos, right?
I mean, it's obviously interaction and everything, and we wanted that to be a part of the experience. It makes the community a lot more friendly if you realize there's people out there and they're trying to get better too, and you can talk and interact with coaches and stuff. But I mean, I think the content and the ideas around it is worth the price point anyways. So yeah, I don't think you're totally at a loss or anything. I mean, we put a lot of stuff together for people trying to improve. So
yeah, and you still have the community here too afterwards with Coach Pass, and we do stuff, you know, throughout the week. We do events and stuff, so you'll still have the community. But the biggest thing is the VODs. Like, you get access to all of the VODs and the lectures and the missions, which is really good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just
you enjoy it.
just to say as well, 30 videos have gone up on the app today. 30 lectures and VODs. So I mean, you know, fill your boots with this. There's a lot appearing to that rapid rate. So
yeah, shouts out to the team, by the way. Shouts out to everybody.
Hey, how are you? I do want to just say, appreciate the boot camp. It was really fun. My question kind of lines adjacent to the one in the chat. I've been busy for most of the boot camp, but my one day I had was Sunday, and going into tomorrow, I have Wednesday, my afternoon's off, and then I have Thursday morning until like later. I was wondering if there's one thing I should be taking advantage of before the boot camp ends. What would you guys say? What is the one thing I should really try to get done before?
I mean, the main thing is, like, since you're not going to have much access to the community, check it out and check out the different lecture rooms with all the jungle or all the different coaching chats. They can be a little hectic sometimes, but like it's a pretty good way to get just ideas about the game and how high you will play the game. Because each coach, you know, they have slightly different styles, varying styles. I have my own way. Polaris has his way. I like to think of myself as a very like pragmatic type of coach. And there's other people that do things a little bit more abstract, and there's other people that prefer different types of approaches to how they do it. And once you see that the game is really a thinking game, and it's not just where you just autopilot, I think that's really fun. And like most of the content that's going to be on the app, like you're not going to have opportunities to maybe ask a question or sit in on some of these lobbies, because not all the lobbies are going to be a little bit too active. Last time we had like fucking 200 videos coming up. For the sanity of our team, like, that's great and all, but I think we've got enough content. So, I would recommend if I were you, just try to pop into some of those rooms or some of the lectures that we'll have going on by the end of this thing, to make them live. Because, I mean, that's part of what we pay for. Like, we don't like the case that, like, the content is worth it alone. But, I mean, part of this thing is the community. And kind of check that out and, like, check out that vibe.
For sure. I appreciate that. Shout out to JS Method for, I got one VOD review and really appreciate it.
Oh, that, I mean, then it's already got a